Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. Not to law-splaining the interwebs, though, because that's banned. That is banned. So we're definitely not law-splaining the interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Media, a small media company based out of East Texas. And how are you guys doing today? Good Lord. What is up with my hair? My lingering long COVID. The long COVID has crept in for now. So it's really fun. What happens is you feel normal and then you're just dead ass tired. Why the fuck is that on? Oh, fuck. Damn it. Hold on. I gotta turn off some shit. Disabled. Go away. Save settings. Oh, fucking hell. I didn't expect to actually be using this, so sorry. It has those alerts should stop happening, which is good, because alert settings every time. There's already an on-screen alert when there's a super chat. We don't need a second one. Okay. Where's the donation box? Oh, they changed it. Oh my goodness. So anyway. So here's how long COVID works. I don't know if it's called long COVID. It doesn't really matter. It's this thing where you feel normal, except that randomly during the day, your body will shut down. Like you haven't breathed in a year, and suddenly you're just exhausted. It's great. I just had that happen. It happens to me now every day around 8 o'clock. I turn into extreme tired boy and have to lay down and take a nap like a 700-year-old man. It's great. It's so wonderful. I love it. And walking around makes you tired. Anything you do, you just get tired. Even if you're just driving. Oh, look. Guess what? You've been awake. Now you're exhausted. So anyway, what's going on with my shirt? I don't know. I was just sleeping. Leave it alone. It's wrinkly because I was sleeping on it. Okay. So we've got some things to talk about today. There's weird stuff going on in the world. I'm going to have to talk about YouTube. And YouTube is stupid. And they're fucking dumb. And they're garbage. And they're trash. And I hope something terrible happens. I don't know what. I probably can't say. Fuck them. Their community guidelines people can eat shit all together. They can have just a giant buffet of shit together. And oh, so help me God, if I can get one of them on the phone, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be great. Because I have so much to say. So YouTube has given me a strike and therefore a 7-day suspension for promoting election misinformation about 2020, specifically promoting the notion that widespread fraud affected the election results in favor of Joe Biden. Now, if you have not heard me promote that theory, it's because I have never, ever promoted that theory. I have never, ever said that widespread election fraud had anything to do with the results of the 2020 presidential election. In fact, you motherfucking communist cunts at Community Guidelines, I have always, probably to my channel's detriment, said the opposite. Said that we don't actually have any evidence that would support changing the election results. That we don't have the ability to change the election results. That there is not sufficient evidence that has been brought before a court to influence the election results. I have said this over and over and over and over again, you dumb motherfuckers, you stupid fucking idiots. I have never ever promoted the idea that widespread election fraud has changed the election results. But you know who has promoted it? YouTube Community Guidelines? You dumb motherfuckers promote it every time you censor someone and ban them for talking about truthful information, about true legal instances with election results, about election lawsuits that have all failed, all of them. And guess who said they would fail? This guy all the time, saying they would not work, that there's not sufficient mechanisms to change the outcome of the presidential election, saying things like the audit in Arizona doesn't actually matter for the 2020 election and is only useful for elections going forward, for them to identify areas where they might change laws for the next election. That's the only thing I've ever fucking said about it, you dumb motherfuckers. You stupid pieces of shit. You fucking morons who can't understand basic English. That's what I said about it. But when you come out and you ban people constantly who are telling the actual truth about all this shit, you kind of make it look like you are promoting election fraud because YouTube fully believes in widespread voter fraud influencing the 2020 election. That's the only result we can possibly come up with because it's the only thing that explains how fucking ban happy they are over this goddamn stupid subject. That when someone asks me an offhanded question, are you going to cover the Arizona audit results? And I give a very basic high-level answer that says, yeah, I'm looking to cover it because it's kind of interesting how, well, what they did was they went to undermine the audit that definitely can't change the election results, but they still went ahead to undermine it by releasing a portion of the report, screen capped and cropped out of context to support the election results. When there's some other interesting stuff in the audit report that's overshadowed by them preempting that by one day by releasing a preliminary report for a report that they have over and over said wasn't useful, wasn't reliable, had no good data in it. That's what I said. I'll say it again. I'll say it 100 times because it does not promote the theory that widespread election fraud impacted the 2020 election. But YouTube Community Guidelines absolutely believes it. They believe that there is widespread election fraud. YouTube Community Guidelines are the actual conspiracy theorists. They're the actual dumb fucking morons that think some dummy on YouTube is going to say magic words and suddenly the 2020 election is going to be undone. They are the stupidest people on the goddamn planet. Because no one else actually thinks that some weirdo lawyer in Minnesota talks about an election and they're going to go change the results. I can't fucking believe how stupid these people are. I can't believe it. I cannot understand it. In fact, I'm probably going to clip this because I have a meeting with YouTube tomorrow and I'm going to play this. That's going to be my meeting. I'm just going to play this for my partner manager so that she knows how fucking dumb the Community Guidelines people are. I want one on the phone. I want one on the phone. I want them. I've asked for them to tell me. I said, quote me the line. Quote me the line where I said anything about election fraud overturning the election. Quote me the one time I've done. Just once. Put the fucking quote down on paper. and show me where I said it. Just once. Just show me the quote. They won't do it. They look at the stream as a whole. It was 4 hours of stream and 5 minutes of discussion about the Arizona audit. A very offhand, passé comment that, let's remind everybody, culminated with the Arizona audit does not matter for the 2020 election because there is no mechanism that currently exists to change the outcome of the 2020 election. You would have to have the states get together and pass a constitutional amendment to change the outcome of the presidency. That's what would have to happen. Guess what? That's not in the cards. That will not happen. I guarantee you the states are not going to get together and ratify an amendment that says, you know what, Trump won. Actually, here's a constitutional amendment that says Trump won. That's not going to happen. It was never going to happen. There are a bunch of people on YouTube who definitely wanted that. They definitely thought that the military was going to come in because they're weird and think that the military... Vox Day told me on the phone, unironically, that the military was going to take over and reinstitute Donald Trump as president. Vox Day told me that on the phone right after I had just got done saying, you know, there are some crazy people out there who believe that the military is actually going to reinstate Donald Trump as president. And Vox said, I believe that. And I said, I'm sorry, what? And he did. There are some people who believe that. It was never going to happen. What are you talking about? And you don't want to live in a country where the military, and by the way, if you haven't figured this out, the right, can I help you here? The right. The military top brass hates you and Trump. And they have his entire presidency. They lied to him. They lied about troop levels. They were literally consorting with the enemy. They're talking to enemies of state, saying that they're undermining the commander-in-chief. We know this. We know they've done this. We've known all this. You still believe the military will come and save you from Joe Biden. The right. Can I help you? The right. The military will not save you. They don't care. Just because the military members that you know happen to vote Republican more often than Democrat, they're not going to overturn. They're not going to go to war with their own country to change the president for you. They were never going to do this. Never, ever, ever was this part of some plan. And everybody who told you this was part of the plan and took your money, they lied to you. All of them. They all lied. They all knew. They're all either knew that they were lying or they were too fucking stupid. And you were listening to someone who was too stupid to realize that they were lying. And I'm so fucking tired of this because I have never once supported one of these goddamn fucking conspiracy theories. I have never ever supported them. And yet here I am being banned. Being banned because the YouTube community guidelines employees are so stupid that they actually think that'll happen. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. These fucking dumb people. Just wait, guys. Just 2 months away. Just 2 months away. The military, the plan is going to happen then. Just 2 months from now. Just go to the rally. It definitely won't be 95% feds. They're definitely they're the real people who are going to fix it. That's right. They definitely are gonna, you know what? They're gonna come around this time. This time it's gonna happen. All those other times, those were all fake test runs, right? Those were the feds, but it won't be a fed at the next one. And the military's totally going to be on your side. Just wait. I've heard from my inside, top secret CIA, FBI, ATF, DOJ, military insider connections that this time they're definitely going to have the military's top brass on our side this time, and they're gonna come in, and they're then, like, because Joe's getting really he's really crazy now. I mean, he's been a little wacky, but I mean, his latest blunders have been the real ones. I mean, they're the ones that are really, like, the military now, they're looking at it like, oh, we better get this guy under control and get Trump back in office now. Now that's now it's going to happen. This time. Just one more month. If you just donate $35 more to truepatriotreality.org, that's where the actual patriots are gathering, and they've known about this for months. There's one big mess hall where they're all getting together and coding the website and taking donations. If you just give $17 a week, then that is going to finally do it. And the funny thing is, YouTube Community Guidelines is probably going to listen to this and go, "Oh man, this guy's spreading misinformation," because they're so stupid. They're so goddamn dumb. I can't take it. I'm so pissed about this. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And so tomorrow I've got a meeting with my YouTube partner manager. Normally we talk about things like how to, work on thumbnails, different video subjects, like strategies for releasing series of videos that will feed off each other. Because they don't, if you notice, like all of the things that I'm saying, if you know anything about YouTube, you know that like that doesn't actually work with the type of content I typically do. Like if I do a series of videos on one subject, the first video we'll do, we'll put it at a baseline level of views, and then every subsequent video will lose about 10 to 20% of the baseline views, because that's how news stories work. News coverage does not work in creating a series, because I'm not doing retarded Among Us videos, right? Like if I did a series of retarded Among Us videos or whatever, maybe that would work. I don't know. I can't hate myself enough to do that. But that's how they gauge things. They literally don't know how to make successful YouTube content. They're not actually good at it. If they did, they'd have successful channels, but they don't. So anyway, these are the things we normally talk about, and one of the big subjects is why don't you push YouTube channel memberships more to your audience? You see, what YouTube wants me to do is to get more people to sign up for the YouTube channel memberships. They think that is a big value. That if I just, create some unique content for YouTube channel members and I really push it, that will boost the YouTube channel membership thing, and I'll be creating my community. And oh, have I got something to talk about tomorrow now? Have I got something to talk about tomorrow? Because if you notice, I can't even make a community post. I can't even make a community post on YouTube to tell people that I'm banned for a week. So imagine you've paid for a month. You've paid like $5 or $10 or whatever you choose for a month of YouTube channel membership. And because of the arbitrary decisions of some dummy at community guidelines, 1 week, so 1/4 of your month you paid for nothing. You cannot get any value out of it. And there's nothing that you did to lose that value. In fact, there's nothing that I did either to lose that value, but they think I did. And when I ask them to show me so I can maybe respond and be like, that's not what that says, you idiot. They won't. And so I'm supposed to go tomorrow and talk about YouTube channel memberships. I want to remind people that there is a place where I am not in any way banned and will not be ever censored for my speech. Apparently, that's what they say. Locals, ricadalaw.locals.com. I implore you, if you are a YouTube channel member, please switch over to Locals. It's a better value. You get more stuff. I post exclusive content over there. And they do not censor speech. They don't censor speech. So, there you go. I'm going to actively campaign against YouTube channel memberships. Once the other channel is back, I'm going to actively campaign against them. It's stupid. And I'm going to tell my partner manager tomorrow. I'll tell them, hey, why the fuck would anybody pay for this? Why would anyone pay for your ability to take away their product? It's not that I don't promote channel memberships anyway. People just do them because they like to support the channel, which I do appreciate. But I don't know why anyone should. So that'll be a fun conversation tomorrow. I don't know. This is the stupid thing. I did not do a video about the Arizona audit. I am not doing election-related coverage. I answered an offhanded question from the chat very briefly at a very high level, and I did not in any way promote the theory that widespread election fraud changed the results of the 2020 election. I don't need to talk about that. I don't need to. People already have made up their minds about the election. They've made up their minds. I'm not going to change them. I don't want to change them. I don't care what people think about the 2020 election. So I answer a brief comment about it, and that's it. People are interested in the Arizona audit. They have been the whole time. The mainstream media, maybe more than anyone else, has been interested in the Arizona audit because they wanted to undermine it. That's true. That's not misinformation. That is information. That is the truth about what has been going on. They have wanted to undermine the Arizona audit before they knew anything that would happen. Before they knew anything about the results or anything like that, they had predetermined what the results would be and set out to undermine it. Try and prove that wrong. Just look at the coverage. That's what they did. That doesn't make the audit good. That doesn't make the data great or useful or anything else. It's also not the stated purpose of the audit by anyone who was involved in it. All of them said, we're looking for we're looking for gaps in our election laws because our people asked us to, which is true. And so people wanted to know what would happen. That's how audits work. I worked for a mortgage audit company. You know what we did? This is great. Let me tell you about the great world of auditing because, believe it or not, I'm a trained forensic auditor. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. It's not like I did this for a long time. Actually, a very short time because it's horrible, unfun work. But I'm trained as a forensic auditor. But here's the process for forensically auditing mortgages. All right, you go through, you get a mortgage file, and this would have been 2005, 2006, so before the 2008 stuff. All the mortgage companies, by the way, knew about all of their fraud. They all knew about it. They were hiring companies like the one I worked for. The company I worked for is called Tena, T-E-N-A. It's based out of St. Paul, Minnesota, and they're an independent mortgage audit firm. And they get hired by the mortgage companies. Okay, so mortgage company. They get a representative sample. They randomly pull 1,000 files, all right? And they send them to a company like Tena. And so then a mortgage auditor, who at the time gets paid $27,000 a year, sits down and they open a file and they look at the terms of the mortgage. They look at the house. They look at the level of appraisals that were done, because there's different appraisals. There's a desk appraisal, which is done by software. Like if you go on Zillow.com and put in a random property, you're probably going to get a desk appraisal. Software is just going to grab the last sale, and then it's going to add some inflation numbers, and then it's going to have nothing, no information, because no one's actually going in and looking at the property. So you get a very rough idea. Or you might get lucky and have a curbside appraisal. And that's where an appraiser comes up and they actually drive up to the property and they look at the property itself. And they see if there's any like big holes in the house or anything that maybe weren't reported, or damage to the siding, or peeling off paint, or brick damage, or foundation issues that they can see from the outside, anything like that. Way overgrown lawns that show maybe the current owners aren't taking care of it, whatever it is. Or if you're really lucky, and these are the least likely to have fraud, typically you're going to have a walkthrough appraisal where an appraiser actually goes to the property, goes in, actually gives it a look around on the inside, and they see what kind of shape the house is in. It's not quite as thorough as an inspection, which aren't that thorough anyway. So you're going to get all this stuff, everything that went into that mortgage file. And back in 2006, what you were going to get was not very much, because they weren't doing anything. Like they didn't have credit reports for some of these people, because they didn't have, because their credit report would have their employment history on it sometimes. And They didn't have that. They just had stated income. This person just makes $175,000 a year. How? We don't know. They just do. Entrepreneur or whatever. This is the third property they're buying this month. They're an entrepreneur, obviously. So that's what's going on. And then, so you go through and you look at this stuff and you go, okay, This house is literally on a train track. There's a cavern where the train actually runs through the house. It just busted through the walls, and the bedroom is next to that and stuff. This house is not worth $350,000, right? It's just not. There are 7 dead homeless people in the front yard. This house is worth nothing, but they got a loan for $350,000. And you go, okay, this is fraud. This is fraud. the appraiser who went to the house and wrote out all his qualifications and talked about all the ways he definitely looked at this, and you're looking at the comparables that he pulled from rich neighborhoods like 20 miles away, and you're like, this isn't comparable. What are you doing? And you go through all of this stuff, and you go, this is fraud, this is fraud, this is fraud. All right? And then you take the fraud, right? You take that, the fraud report on the mortgages. We're talking about mortgages community guidelines. And you take that and you give it to the mortgage company who just broke the law. You give it to them. And that's what you do with all of the mortgage fraud, because that's how auditing works. They get hired by the company to see what happened. And then the company has to decide what to do with the audit report. But there isn't an audit rescue team. There isn't a team of people who go, okay, we heard there's some audits going on and the audit results might be bad. We're going to rescue. No, that's not what an audit does. That's not what it does. And I know that people out there, no matter how many times I've said it, for some reason think that a state can decertify their election results. How? What mechanism? Why? I know a lot of people think this. I know they do. But by what mechanism do you think they can do that? The mechanism to certify election results exists. The states create them. The states don't actually create mechanisms to decertify them. They're not there. They weren't there. They haven't been there. And everybody yells at me when I say this. But it's not there. And it's definitely not there 9 months after the election. And yet, the people who think this is going to happen the most are YouTube community guidelines employees. They're the ones. They're the ones who believe that this is going to happen. That's the only conclusion I can come to, because they're the ones who are banning everybody who talks about anything. I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's the way it goes. That's what it is. So anyway, all of that to say, I am currently still on a 7-day ban due to a strike. It should be up Friday at, I guess, 12. About 5:45 p.m. Friday. So assuming that's how it works, I will stream on Friday back on the normal channel. I guess. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm still working to get it overturned. I don't want this strike on my channel. I didn't do what they said I did. I didn't say the thing that they say violated the rules. I've never, ever said it. I've never had that position. Despite it, guys, if I would have kept that position, I would still be making 3-minute long videos. I'm sure I would have been banned, like fully banned, like Q and Doug and stuff like that. But I'd still be making 3-minute long videos that get hundreds of thousands of views. Problem is, I never, ever towed that line. I never said that this would work. And so people stopped watching. The people who were watching that content got mad and they stopped watching. They're like, he doesn't trust the plan. He doesn't trust the plan. All the Q boomers and the demographics. I mean, it's no point in actually showing you, but the 55 plus crowd that was for a time over half of the audience. Over half of the audience was 55 plus. They're all Q boomers. They're all like, yeah, Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell are the greatest people on earth. and they're definitely going to win. If I believed any of that and said any of that, I would still be racking up hundreds of thousands of views on those topics. But it got to the point where I didn't believe they were going to win, and I got tired of covering it, and people got tired of watching it because I didn't say that they were going to win. So, ergo, it was not a long-term grift. It couldn't be. It couldn't be, because I never towed that stupid line. I thought it would be funny. I mean, it would have been really funny. Imagine if they would have somehow thrown a monkey wrench into the whole election and we were still fighting over it now. I mean, that would have been hilarious. We wouldn't have mask mandates right now. We wouldn't have Southwest Airlines shutting down 1,000 flights in a day due to weather. We wouldn't have any of this because they'd be still fighting over the election. That'd be really fucking funny. That'd have been maximum keck. Hilarious. But it was not going to happen. It was over. It was over on January 6th, specifically. And all those poor saps who got led into the Capitol building. Like, there were some dummy instigators in the crowd for sure. But a bunch of those people were following others. Guys, let me give you some helpful advice. Don't ever trust a cop to let you in somewhere. Like, here you go, fellow citizen. Oh, thank you, officer. I'll just walk into Congress. Nope. Don't do that. Not a good play. Not a good plan. Not a good plan. Let me help you. Anyway. So that's that. I'm a little angry about this. I think it's bullshit. You know my general stance on banning is is that I think banning is stupid. I think YouTube signal boosts the wrong stuff when they ban people. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because it looks like they're trying to suppress the truth or whatever. And the funny thing is I wasn't professing the truth. I wasn't even trying to talk about this. It's not an interesting subject 9 months after the election to still be talking about it. It's not interesting. It hasn't been interesting. This audit should have been done in May, June. There's some reasons that it wasn't. That where they just didn't comply with the subpoenas that the Senate put out there. I mean, let's not forget that Maricopa County created the audit issue. They created it entirely by not complying with lawful subpoenas from the state Senate. And just so everybody knows, county and municipal governments are subsets of the state government. So a state issuing a subpoena to a county is basically guaranteed to be legal because the county is a subsidiary of the state. And so the state has a right to all of the information that counties have. And that's what all of the judges who kept looking at that case said. All of them. They lost on every single subpoena resistance that they did. Because that's how subsidiary governmental entities work. They're subject to the creating entity. But that being said, they created these problems. They delayed it. That's why it took until, fucking October for this. But it doesn't matter. I mean, just because it took forever didn't change what was going to happen. More specifically, what wasn't going to happen. So, anyway, like I said, I don't actually find that subject to be interesting. There's plenty of other shit going on with mask mandates, with just general concepts of freedom, with various true crime stuff that's going on. Kyle Rittenhouse, Kim Potter, Taser lady. What's her fucking name? I feel like Kim Potter is the lady who wasn't issuing marriage licenses. Dave Chappelle. I want to talk about the Dave Chappelle special. It's an interesting thing. So that we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. The Dave Chappelle The Closer special. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I've seen it. And let me just say, as far as a comedy show, a stand-up comedy show, I was not impressed. Not impressed at all with Dave Chappelle's stand-up comedy show. As a stand-up political commentary show, phenomenal. Off the charts. Great. But it wasn't funny. It wasn't like a funny man haha show. I've seen much better stand-up from Dave Chappelle. I've seen much better stand-up than other people. Or from other people. Other stand-up comedians. That's fine. That doesn't look like he was trying to be very funny during it. Looked like he was trying to make a point, and I think he did that very, very well. But it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to see the reaction that people have had. And of course, Netflix has allegedly banned some trans person or suspended them from work or whatever, which Netflix swears isn't true. But what's truth anymore, right? What's truth anymore? And I honestly, I don't know how you can watch that stand-up special as a trans person and be mad about anything Dave Chappelle said. When he basically said, I'm sorry for offending all of you. Like, let's be real about what he said. I'm sorry for offending all of you. And he even closed it with, I'm not going to tell any more jokes about trans people at all. Because he was never meaning to offend people. It's a weird thing. So the only way you get to the idea that Dave Chappelle is harming trans people is by leading with the premise that Dave Chappelle is going to harm trans people and then looking for ways to be harmed. I mean, that's what you have to do. I guess all of the offended people it's the same people, right? Who do the YouTube community guidelines stuff. I didn't mean to go back to this, but let's go back to it. They've assumed, and make no mistake, my channel's been flagged for a very long time. My channel has been flagged on this shit for a very long time. And so they have a list. We know from the Twitch leaks, right, that there's a list. YouTube does the same shit that Twitch does. Of course they do. I mean, the fact that people are surprised that the list existed at all is baffling to me. But that being said, so they have a list. They have their thing, and they go, this person is likely to violate this rule. And there's only two rules that actually matter on YouTube. There's two. There's election misinformation and vaccine misinformation. Those are the only two rules on YouTube that actually matter right now. And as proof, the first stream I did on this channel after getting banned on the other one with Ty, the first stream I did here, that show got removed for violation of the community guidelines. It was reviewed in the middle of the night over like a couple hours. They said it was dangerous to children. And they didn't actually tell me why, but I assume it's because we played the video of that school shooter and the fight that he was in prior to the school shooting. So what we did was we played something that's a major news story that's going on at the time. And YouTube we played it one time, and YouTube determined their algorithm or whatever determined that somehow endangered children and encouraged children to harm, which is obviously ridiculous. And the surrounding context was not we were not cheering on the fight. We weren't hoping kids were going to be injured. Nothing stupid like that. Just commentary about what had happened, about this fight, and how it led to a school shooting, right? Very basic. Very basic stuff. And that was reviewed and overturned in a matter of a couple hours in the middle of the night. It took 4 days. It took 4 days for me to get an answer back on the other one. Or 3 days, something like that. 3 or 4 days. Let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So 3 days. 3 days to get an answer back on the other one. And it didn't come until today. And so it goes to show you, like, just how quickly they can... oh, well, that's a policy... Well, it's not a policy violation, actually. Obviously. But the other one, boom, strike. They also didn't issue a strike on the other one. They just removed it, and they're like, oh, we're sorry. You must have made a mistake. Endangering children, no strike, no problem. But apparently you say something about the election. Wow, that's immediate strike. Immediate strike. No, well, it must have been an accident. Because I could actually understand maybe if they did one of those. You probably didn't mean to violate the rule here. So we removed the content, but it's not going to be a strike. Oh, okay, good. That's, I'd still appeal it. I'd still say they were wrong, but it would have been much more accurate given the context of what was said in the other video. But that's not what they did. They do that with endangering kids, though. Anyway, that's how the Dave Chappelle critics are looking at his thing. Because the simple criticism of Dave Chappelle's show was it wasn't that funny. I like Dave Chappelle. I think his stand-up's hilarious. Not this one. It just wasn't that funny. Again, I don't think that was his goal. I don't think he was trying to be funny. I think he was trying to make a point. I think he made his point very well. But they could have been critical of just, the comedy. They weren't. They were looking for offense. They were looking for offense. And then they found it. Because it's easy to find offense when you're begging for it. Right? It's easy to be a moron and then to find the moronic thing that triggers you. It's called tilting at windmills. Fighting the demons that don't exist. Okay, let me read some of these chats that came in at the beginning of the show. Now that my rant is over after 50 minutes. RZEQDW says, why do they call it blood and not corn syrup? Ooh. That's a super nerd joke. That's a nerd joke. A 40K nerd joke. Very, very shameful. Shame for display. Ryan K says, well, today marks my quarter century upon God's testing grounds. And because of that, I wanted to give back to one who helped point me in a better direction. Thank you for all you do. You've helped more than you realize. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you very much. Happy birthday, by the way. Eldritch Blasted. Hold on. It says, hoping L freedom flu is more contagious than Rona. I don't know, man. Look, I have someone I know who lives down in Nicaragua, and apparently, Canadians are fleeing Canada down to Central America looking for basically political asylum from the mandates. They're calling themselves political prisoners, apparently, and they're showing up. It's pretty interesting, I guess. Like, can you imagine looking for freedom in the arms of Nicaragua? That's wild to me. Oh, Jesus. It's whew. It's a weird thing. I can't imagine. Like, look, I'm gonna go to a Central American socialist country and beg for freedom there. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess. I don't know what else they're supposed to do. Western democracies have shown that they have no interest. They have no interest in the rights of their people right now. So they're, you're going to take the jab bigot, eat the bugs, stop using your air conditioner, whatever it takes. You're on the no-fly list. You're on the no organ transplant list. Sorry, if you get sick, you can't come in. You can't come in. What? So what if we're a hospital? You can't, you're not welcome here. Should have gotten the jab. Should have done that. That's what you should have done. Sorry that you need, like a liver transplant or a heart transplant or lung transplant. Sorry about that. I guess you'll just die then. And that's fine. That's how it goes. And the best part is everyone around you agrees with the governments that are saying this. They agree with it. They're like, yeah, why would you get a lung? You didn't get vaccinated. I'm sorry, excuse me? What? When did this happen? You couldn't put down the ice cream spoon. Why should you get a lung? They've been doing transplants for smokers forever, despite knowing the negative effects of tobacco on lungs. They still do lung transplants for smokers, but if you're not vaccinated though, then you can't get in. And the worst part is that the people around you are so broken and so slavish to government and so afraid. They're so afraid of COVID that they agree. They'd rather you be boarded up and just die. This isn't a left or right issue. Many people on the right agreed with this, especially at the beginning. They're only now changing their tune. They're only now starting to say, oh, maybe this is going too far. But at the beginning, the people on the right, I talked to people on the right who unironically said if someone tests positive for COVID and refuses to quarantine, that the police should shoot them and kill them. That was the argument I had with what's his face. I can't remember the guy's name. He was a weirdo. But that was it. That people should be forcibly locked into their homes, and if they left, shoot them. That was the right. Because that's actually an interesting thing that happened. While Trump was president, the right was talking about how dangerous COVID was, and the left was downplaying it. That was going on. I don't know how many people on the right remember that, but that's what was going on. the Trump supporters were talking about how dangerous COVID was, and the mainstream media and the Democrat candidates and parties were downplaying the damage, right? Because Trump wanted to close the borders, but that was racist. So you go to Chinatown and hug a bunch of Chinese people. Somehow that was going to do something. I don't know what the plan was, but that was the thing. Sebuku Sushi. It wasn't actually Vincent James. I debated Vincent James on porn. It was some other guy. It was some other guy. But it's an interesting thing that's gone on. And you know, people have gotten more information. There's lots of reasons people can change their positions. There's lots of reasons. People were very, very scared. And then now they're not so scared anymore. Shockingly, people are able to have different opinions, you know, a year and a half later. That's not a criticism. It's just an observation on how much has changed. The people, though, who are culpable for it because they have not explained their change of position are the media. The media are culpable on all this stuff. They have self-professed had more information than anybody else. They've had access to the experts from the start. But the media, more than anyone, has let the political tide sculpt their perspective. And the worst part is they're supposed to be authoritative on information. I don't believe that, but the media sells themselves that way. They're billed that way by Joe Biden, by the Democrat establishment. They're billed that way. And so, since they've billed themselves that way, they are culpable. They are the ones who should be explaining their change in position, who should be explaining how they're suddenly for travel lockdowns and lockdowns from various countries. How they're for intrastate lockdowns. Interstate. Hell, they're for intrastate lockdowns too. But they're the ones who should be explaining that. They don't have to, though. It's fine. Andrew War Snowboard says John Gruden resigned from his position as Las Vegas Raiders head coach because he said faggot in an email 7 years ago. He also used misogynistic language in emails. He had a 10-year contract with the team gone. I heard about this. I didn't see the specifics of it. Is that all? He resigns. I'm sure that was just a peaceful resignation, right? Definitely one-sided. He's choosing to resign. That's what happened there. You bet your ass he did. Let's see. I'll pull this up real quick. Here we go. Okay. Whew. Whoa, a big chat from Anthony Cantu. Holy crap. He says, hey, Nick, just wanted to give you my first super chat on my birthday. Been watching for years and haven't had the extra scratch to send to you. In a better place now, I wanted to give back for all the great shows over these past few years. Anthony, thank you. Happy birthday, man. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate the hell out of it. Okay, here we go. Raiders coach resigns after homophobic and misogynistic emails. Whew. By the way, guys, I have to say, I really do appreciate you guys showing up to the alternative channel for the streams. It sucks. It sucks because that's one thing that's been that I've been working on is building the streams on the other channel, focusing more on the live stream content again, trying to trying to convince the YouTube algorithm to promote the show, doing daytime live streams instead of daytime short videos, stuff like that, to promote the idea that this is primarily a live show. And having a week off of that is fucking infuriating. And when you change shit up, whenever you change anything on YouTube, everybody hates it and they don't respond, and you can't get the message out to everybody because their broken ass notification system, you just can't do it. And so to have people show up on this channel is awesome. So thank you for that. It really is encouraging because you work really hard to build something, and then it's just like, oh, nope, let me pull the rug out from under you. Sorry, you're getting screwed out of this. Oh, and let me say one thing while I'm thinking about it right now. There will be Twitch tonight. I'm tired and exhausted, but that doesn't change the schedule. We're going to watch Ong Bak tonight. Ong Bak on Twitch. Movie night. Should be a blast. Lot of fun. Good fun, high action martial arts movie. So make sure you come over to Twitch. And if anybody wants to know why I have multiple channels on multiple platforms, well, this week is evidence of exactly why. Okay. John Gruden stepped down Monday as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders football team, hours after the New York Times detailed emails. Oh, so it was a hit piece from the New York Times in which he had made homophobic and misogynistic remarks following an earlier report of racist statements about a union leader. What was his racist statement? What was his racist statement? Let's see if we got it. He used a racist stereotype in 2011 to describe the Players Union president, DeMaurice Smith, who is black. Is he black, though? We sure about that? Can we get a ruling? Chad, is DeMaurice Smith black? I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Does he identify as black? I mean, that... Oh, shit, I keep saying he. Does they identify as black? I don't know. But I'll have to take New York Times word for it. He used racist terms. What racist terms? Email service just hours before the player representatives for the 32 teams voted to give Smith a fifth term as union leader, this time without having to hold a general election. Was not endorsed by the union selection committee earlier this week, a sign that he was facing unusually stiff opposition within his own ranks. Oh, here we go. Anybody follow what just happened here? The literal fucking mob is the unions. Unions have been the mob since the mob was basically neutered. Look at this shit. So, didn't have to hold a general election. Okay. They accused him of being too conciliatory to the league. And just right before the player representatives voted, just right before he gets a big positive press puff piece at the expense of John Gruden. Okay, now I get it. Simple. It was a strong arm tactic, and Gruden was just in the way. There's reason to believe the league's owners prefer that he stay, and such an inflammatory email, first reported by the Wall Street Journal and confirmed by New York Times, complicated the vote for players who opposed Smith. Oh, man. Weird. While Smith has been combative with the NFL at times, he is viewed favorably by many owners who worked closely with him last season to get the players back in the field during the pandemic. Holy shit! Oh, no! No, Gruden, what were you thinking? You can't say that! Okay, he says, Dumb Boris Smith. So he called him Dumb Boris instead of Demoris, right? Demoris. Dumb Boris Smith has lips the size of Michelin tires. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. What are you thinking? They're not that big. That's not that big of lips. Jeez. The email was discovered during a review of workplace misconduct at the Washington football team that ended this summer. During the past few months, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told league executives to look at more than 650,000 emails, including the one that included Gruden's comment. This week, executives presented a summary of that review to Goodell and shared with him the Raiders' emails pertaining to Gruden. It's appalling, abhorrent, and wholly contrary to the NFL's values, Brian McCarthy, a league spokesman, said in a statement. Oh, yeah. You know what I think of when I think of the NFL? I think of no trash talking, no racist, sexist, or homophobic jokes or anything. That's actually what I think of. I think of just nothing but peace and harmony going between a bunch of guys with no ego at all. That's what I think of in the NFL. Let's see. You know, people are sometimes saying things behind your back that are racist, just like you see people talk and write about using thinly coded and racist language, said Smith, who took over as the union's executive director in 2009. Racism like this comes from the fact that I'm at the same table as they are, and they don't think someone who looks like me belongs. This likely has absolutely nothing to do with it. But you gotta take that opportunity by the reins, by the scruff, and you gotta ride that shit across the goal line, and he knows that. He knows that you can never let a racist comment go to waste. And so here we go. Back to his recent stuff. His resignation was a striking departure from the Football League for a coach who had won a Super Bowl, been a marquee analyst on ESPN, and returned to the NFL 2018 to lead the resurgent Raiders, which he had coached years before. I've resigned as head coach. I love the Raiders. Do not want to be a distraction. Blah, 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 blah. What did he say? Found that Gruden had casually and frequently unleashed misogynistic and homophobic language over several years to denigrate people around the game and mock some of the league's momentous changes. Who fucking cares? He denounced the emergence of women as referees. I didn't know they were letting women referee men on the field. What a terrible plan. Why would they do this? Why would a woman want to be a football referee? Why is that a thing? What? Why would... I don't get it. Gruden's messages were sent to Bruce Allen, the former president of the Washington football team. What was the Washington football team? That's a weird name. And others. While he was working for ESPN as a color analyst, well, no wonder he made a black joke. No wonder he made a black joke. He was a color analyst. During Monday Night Football, in the emails, Gruden called the league commissioner, Roger Goodell, a faggot and a clueless anti-football pussy. Well, I mean, spot the lie, I guess. Right? Prove it, Goodell. You have sex with a woman right now. I dare you. And said that Goodell should not have pressured Jeff Fisher, then the coach of the Rams, to draft queers. A reference to Michael Sam, a gay player chosen by the team in 2014. Wait, did Michael Sam ever end up playing? Michael Sam. How many seasons did Michael Sam play? Let's see. 2014 draft. The Rams drafted Sam in the 7th round. He made his professional debut on August 8th during a preseason game where he made 1 tackle. Let's see. On August 30th, they released him as part of a final round of cuts to reduce their roster. Okay, so he didn't play then. On September 3rd, he was added to the practice squad of the Dallas Cowboys. On October 21st, the Cowboys waived Sam to make room for linebacker Troy Davis. He participated in the first NFL veteran combine. Well, but he's not an NFL veteran. He only played preseason. What was he a veteran of? Oh no. No, then he went to the Montreal Alouettes. And then he announced he was stepping away from professional football due to mental health reasons. Oh, shit. He currently shares his experiences as an author and motivational speaker. Motivation for what? He didn't ever play. And he just quit. What a terrible motivational speaker that guy is. Motivate me. Well, I never actually played and then I quit. Oh. Shit. That's not motivating at all. In numerous emails during a 7-year period ending in early 2018, Gruden criticized Goodell and the league for trying to reduce concussions and said that Eric Reed, a player who demonstrated during the playing of the national anthem, should be fired. Okay. In several instances, Gruden used a homophobic slur to refer to Goodell and offensive language to describe some NFL owners, coaches, and journalists who cover the league. Who cares? Again, who cares? Uh-oh. Oh, here's what did him in. Gruden's behavior was not limited to 2011. Gruden exchanged emails with Allen and other men that included photos of women wearing only bikini bottoms, including one photo of 2 Washington team cheerleaders. Oh, man. How dare he? Prove it. They should share those pictures on the news reporting here. Gruden also criticized President Obama during his re-election campaign in 2012, as well as then-President Joseph Robinette Biden the Sniffer, whom Gruden called a nervous, clueless pussy. He used similar words to describe Goodell and DeMaurice Smith, the executive director of the NFL Players Association. Now we're getting to it. He objectified women. How do you get the pictures? I mean, how could anybody find a picture of the Washington football team cheerleaders in just bikini bottoms? I mean, he clearly must have surreptitiously took them while they were innocently at a car wash or something, and they just fell out of all their clothes and landed in some bikini bottoms. And of course, I mean, obviously he's criticizing Obama. You can't do that. I would have told him. I would have told this guy that you can't criticize Obama. Taken together, the emails provide an unvarnished look into the clubby culture of one NFL circle of peers. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's real strange. Yeah, this is an inside look into the NFL's clubby culture, where you have people sharing political opinions, unvarnished language, and guys saying that here's a picture of a hot woman. Oh, my God. I mean, if only it's such an aberration. It's such an aberration that men would talk to each other, share political opinions, and find women attractive. Holy shit. Pornographic images where white male decision makers felt comfortable sharing pornographic images, deriding the league policies, and jocularly sharing homophobic language. Listen to how they write this. Oh, man, no guy's ever emailed a pair of tits before. White male decision makers. That's right. If there were just some black men or some Hispanic men in there, there would never be any objectification of the precious female race. Race? Gender? Species? Their banter flies in the face of the league's public denouncements of racism and sexism, and it promises to be more inclusive amid criticism for not listening to the concerns of black players, who make up about 70% of rosters. Wait, how's that possible? Despite only being 15% of the population, they make up 70% of the NFL? That doesn't seem fair. That seems disproportionately favoring towards black athletes. The NFL has in the past struggled to discipline personnel who have committed acts of domestic violence and been condemned for failing to adequately address harassment of women, including NFL cheerleaders. Oh, okay. Speaking of names that end in L and domestic violence, have you guys seen that Chuck Liddell has been arrested on a charge of domestic violence? Chuck Liddell. Apparently he didn't hit her because she might be dead. I mean, you don't know who Chuck Liddell is? Hold on, I got you. I got you covered. Let's see. Here we go. Get a good picture of Chuck. Oh, hey, this must be him and his wife. Whew. Not a good look, Chuck. So this is Chuck Liddell. And I'm guessing this is who he domestic violenced. You may recognize Chuck Liddell from such other memorable scenes as this one. That's Chuck Liddell, a professional fighter, one of the hardest overhand right swinging heavyweights in UFC history. Chuck the Iceman Liddell. Famous for knocking out the unknockoutable He is he's got heavy mitts, so to speak. But I'm curious, you know, like you always wonder. She's not big. Like Chuck definitely did not do like the dangada right straight left hook from Bossarootin on her, because she'd be dead. So you gotta wonder. He's being held in like $50,000 bail. So Chuck, you can't do that. You cannot. You're too big and strong. You cannot touch her at all. So let me see. I'll see if I can. Oh, he's got a statement. Claims he was the victim. Uh-oh. Do we have some good old-fashioned misandry going on? Would not surprise me at all in a domestic issue. Again, this is a man, if he laid an overhand right on this chick, she could die. She could die. Chuck Liddell releases statement on domestic battery arrest, claims he was the victim. Chuck has released a statement addressing his arrest for domestic battery. UFC Hall of Fame member was arrested early Monday morning at his home in Hidden Hills, California, when Lost Hills deputies responded to a call regarding a family disturbance. Liddell was arrested after the deputies determined that there was a physical altercation between he and his wife. He was booked into Lost Hills Sheriff's Station on a charge of misdemeanor domestic battery with bail set at $20,000. On Monday evening, a statement was released on Liddell's Instagram in which he claimed he was actually the victim of the alleged incident. He also claims that he volunteered to go with the deputies in his wife's place. The incident stemmed from an existing family mental health issue. Last night, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies who responded were professional. While the information about this case will be revealed in due course, I believe it is important to convey and clarify a few facts about the situation. I was the victim of the incident last night at our family home, as details of the case will reveal. Deputies informed me that my wife would be arrested. As I did not respond to her assault while I sustained bruising and lacerations, I volunteered to go in her place. This is one of the many times I've tried to shield a family mental health issue from public purview. It has become painfully apparent that this cannot continue, as our private life has now reached a public breaking point. Please respect our privacy as I help to navigate our family through this difficult time. So there you go. So Chuck's sitting there getting his ass kicked, and then he gets arrested with $20,000 bond. Whew. So that's the Chuck Liddell story. I was curious, man, because if he hit her, right? Like he knows. He's not fighting shape Chuck anymore, but he's not. Of course, this is an old picture. But he's still, I mean, that doesn't go away. Your old man muscle doesn't suddenly just deteriorate into nothing. He can still punch harder than the average man by a considerable amount. Damn. Imagine you're the one getting your ass kicked and you're like, oh, well, I guess I have to go to jail then. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine? A man sitting there beating his wife, right? And then the cops show up and the woman's like, she's got, like a big shiner here. Her lips all busted and bleeding. She's like, actually, no. Take me to jail instead. They'd laugh in her face. They'd laugh in her fucking face. No. Why would we take you to jail? Insane. Uniga says Adrian Blair pegged Ethan Ralph, then made him lick it clean. Does the injunction prevent him from denying this rumor? I have no idea. I hope it does. Long Fester the Gunt may continue making his own punishment on Earth. Well, that's up to him. Again, I said this last time someone brought it up. I have no interest in talking about Ethan Ralph. I didn't before this. I won't after this. He is an uninteresting person to me. And whatever his antics are, I wish him all of the success in the world. Mithrin Emra says, YouTube kangaroo court, you have been accused, therefore you are guilty. No need for pesky evidence. If you weren't guilty of wrongthink, you never would have been accused. Conform or be terminated, comrade. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how it works. That's how it's worked for a while. And the best part is, again, I asked, what did I say? And the response I got was, they wouldn't give me a specific timestamp or quote. Oh, okay. Okay. Raging Golden Eagle. Hey, what's up, RGE? He said, sadly, this would be like me complaining about a stupid decision a VP at my day job made that screwed me over. All it would get me is into the unemployment line. YouTube is the incompetent boss that'll fire you for anything. Well, I don't think I'm going to get it overturned. So I might as well bitch about it as much as possible. They already rejected my appeal. I don't think they're going to suddenly change their minds just because I bitch about it. But they're not going to change their minds if I don't bitch about it either. So I'm going to take the opportunity to call out the bullshit. I'm going to call out bullshit all day. There's no reason for me not to. They're not going to change their decision. It's not going to hurt me. So I might as well. William Smith says, I feel like I'm the only one who disliked the closer. No. I mean, I like I said, I didn't find it funny. Chappelle declared himself a feminist, said he has a problem with white people, and literally everybody clapped. There was no juicy, smallier tier bit. Disappointing. I mean, hell, I mean, I think by his definition, though, like, most people are all feminists. Like, most people want women to have equal rights. They want them to have equal rights. Most modern feminists don't want equal rights for women. They want something different. They want better rights. They want a special subset of privileges. That's what they want. Most people out there are like, yeah, everybody should have the same set of rights. That's fine. But they want them to have the same set of rights. And they're noticing that people don't. Depending on what category you're in right now, you get special rights. I've got a couple news stories about that in just a minute. But that's according to the definition of feminism that Dave Chappelle laid out, right? That someone who wants equal rights for women. Well, I mean, I'm a feminist too. Second wave feminism was about equality. Third wave feminism is something entirely different because that's how these movements go, right? They want recognition, then they want equality, then they want more equality than someone else. Okay. I can't go there. I don't want anyone to be more equal than anybody else. I just want the equal opportunity for everybody. And for anybody who's out there who says, well, but some people don't have the same starting point as some other people. Well, that just sucks, doesn't it? It just sucks that you didn't have the same starting point. It would be great if we were all Hiltons or Waltons and you just had $1 billion given to you. That would be wonderful, right? I would have a chariot pulled by Lamborghinis. It'd be hilarious. I do all sorts of funny stuff if I was a billionaire, but I'm not. Never will be. I have the opportunities to be a billionaire. I probably don't have the skill set to be a billionaire. I don't have the drive to do it. I don't have the particular training and idea and practical opportunity to do so. But that's okay. We can't all be billionaires. I mean, we can all be billionaires if socialism gets to come in, right? If these fucking weirdos like Vaush get their way, then yeah, we all get to be billionaires under hyperinflated socialism, and our money is meaningless. And that's fine. And maybe we all will be at that point. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about being a top 0.01% not income earner, top 0.1% wealth holder. And if you are that, you get some cool stuff. You get giant yachts. You get to live a different life than everybody else. Not necessarily better. It's just different. You get toys other people don't get. But you have a different list of problems too. So, I don't know. I just want everybody to have the same rules. The same rules, and then you'll make of it what you want. World War Wit says, Ricada Media, why doesn't false light apply to relating to community guidelines? Makes no sense for them to be able to argue breach of contract when they don't get proper notice because nothing is defined. Well, here's the thing. Do you want to sue YouTube? So hypothetically, right? YouTube has lied about me. They've lied. Or they either lied saying I broke community guidelines, or they're presenting the truth in a false light, which is damaging to me, saying that I am spreading election misinformation when I am not. I have absolutely not shared a single bit of misinformation about the election. Everything that I've shared is sourced. It's adequately sourced. It is the truth about what has happened. And I have not personally drawn conclusions that are contrary to YouTube's guidelines, but either way, I just share what's actually in the news. Okay. So let's hypothetical this. So YouTube then lies and says, I did X. All right. So I sue YouTube. What's YouTube's solution? You're out of the partner program. You're done. In fact, you're banned from the platform. Wait, what? Yeah, we don't want you on the platform anymore because you filed a lawsuit against us and there's no reason to keep you on. Oh. So then I win. Let's say I win. What did I win? Nothing. Like I could maybe show potential damages. I have a pretty solid track record of like how much money I've made over the past couple years, and how much I'm likely to make in the future, especially other than this month, because the dual hit of COVID plus this guideline strike will cripple this month. But up until this month, this has been my biggest year on YouTube yet. And in fact, there's only 1 month this year where I did not make as much money as my biggest month last year, and I missed it by $300. So, by all accounts, absent this banning, by all accounts, I'm expected to do better every month this year than last year. Again, that won't happen this month because of the banning. But yeah, so I can prove that I would make more money, but so like I can't prove that would continue. I mean, Sorry. I can make a good case that I would make more money, but I can't prove that I would, especially because all of my income on YouTube is based on donations, right? And tomorrow, everybody could just decide to stop donating. They could do that. There's nothing I could do about it. There's no way for me to control and change that. It's not like, with ad revenue. With ad revenue, people will watch, and there's based on, basically how many subscribers you have, you're going to get a certain amount of views. That's pretty predictable. But with donations, there's no predictability to it. So if you bring the lawsuit against YouTube, even if you win, you lose. And that's how all social media is. And it's going to cost you $200,000. That's the other reality. It's going to cost $200,000 to sue YouTube. And what are you going to win? You may not get your fees for a breach of contract. So it's just that's the way big companies work in tons of instances, by the way. And it's also the reason why employment law, when you're an actual employee, has various built-in protections for employees, because an employee, your average employee at a normal company who loses their job, where they make $60,000 a year, bringing an employment law lawsuit against your employer is a losing prospect, right? So employment law has built-in fines and penalties written into statutes where states are like, okay, if the employee brings a successful employment law claim against an employer, they're going to win their fees, and they're going to win a penalty fee award automatically. That's going to be built in because they're going to get their fees paid for, and that's going to go to the lawyer. So then there has to be an additional punitive fee on top of maybe triple wages or whatever that they're going to get. And the reason that they have that is because it costs so much to do litigation, and the people don't make that much money. Your average employee doesn't make enough money for these types of lawsuits. But things like YouTube, right? We're independent contractors. We're not employees. And so since there aren't protections for us on this stuff. So we just have to play within the rules the best we can, and rely on our communities that we built up when YouTube fucks us over. Ultimately, it'll eventually happen. And that's that. That's that. Big Red Bear says Chuck was just looking to get that W count higher. He had a few losses in the tail end of his career. He might get another W if his lawyer tells him something he doesn't want to hear. Chuck went into this in fighting shape. Oh, no. Oh, no. Would I sue if they deleted my ability to use a platform? I don't know. Maybe. Shade221 says everyone with a partner contract should argue their employees under California's law demanding gig workers be treated as employees. Yeah, that'd be really interesting. It would be very costly to YouTube to have to deal with that. Right now they can't do it, but again, I think YouTube, if they did something stupid like implemented a vaccine mandate, I think that would be the thing that does it. That could be the thing that does it. Okay, I've got let's see. Got something. I've got some stuff here. By the way, guys, I know some of you like and some of you don't like Doug TenNapel. He's a bit of a hot button topic here on the channel. But some people are wondering what Doug is up to. He was banned on YouTube, right? He was banned on YouTube. Doug has been selling NFTs. And Doug has been hand drawing NFTs, working on, I think, like a 10,000 NFT collection, but he's doing it by hand. That's like a common thing I've learned about. People, they create software that'll randomize a bunch of assets and put together a collection of 10,000 different NFTs, like pixel art, right? They'll make different pixel art hats and pipes and stuff like that. And then software will put them together in different combinations. But Doug has been selling NFTs, and he cleared a big milestone the other day. He has raised over 100 Ethereum selling NFTs. And his collection has a long way to go still, but he is not doing the randomized. Automated thing. Every NFT you get from Doug is a hand drawn piece from the Neverhood. It was a collection of comics that he did a long time ago. But yes, I checked this out. I'm like, well, how the fuck much is 100 Ethereum? It's like $300,000 that he's done. He's done this in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks of drawing NFTs. So he's got a long way to go too. He's doing something like 50 to 100 NFTs a day. He's just drawing and drawing and drawing. So if you guys are interested in NFTs, if you're in that scene, look, I don't really understand it. Doug has explained it to me over the phone. I get it. Like I get it, right? I understand that you're buying a record of a thing's existence being recorded on the blockchain. I get that. Like, I don't get it though. I don't get the value that you get out of it, but I know that there's value because people can trade it. They can buy it and then sell it for a higher value or whatever they're going to do. I get those things. I just don't get it, if you know what I mean. But if you are into NFTs, if you are into owning digital blockchain property, I'll direct you to Doug's Twitter, and you can check it out there. I don't understand why people buy it, but I know that some people are really, really into it. And so if people like that, I want to let them know that there's a guy out there that I know, and who's a nice guy and a personal friend that is out there selling them. So if you guys are into NFTs, if you like the Neverhood and you don't know about it, go check it out, because what he's doing is different than other people. Like I said, every NFT that Doug does is hand drawn, hand created, and it's not a algorithmically produced bullshit that other people are creating. So let's do this one. Let's do this news story. Not a problem. This news story is just fine, bigots. Being a nice guy isn't what will sell. Tell them Susan hates his guts. That she does. Doug cannot create a YouTube channel because Susan has made him persona non grata. He cannot. Every single YouTube channel Doug has made gets banned by YouTube. He's been banned on probably 7 or 8 channels now. It's all just a matter of time. He is not allowed on YouTube. His name, Doug TenNapel, is verboten, and what he has to say is verboten as well. So, Streamlabs, you boomer. I gotta set up stream elements. Felipe Move says, Nikki, I've been following you since the quartering thing with the gay guy. I decided your shows during these years haven't been good, so please reimburse me the money. My new nick in YouTube is Matt Maka. Thanks for listing me first in the Q Boomers list. High praise. Who the hell's Matt Maka? I have no idea who that is. Sorry, Felipe. No refunds. I don't believe in them. They're against my religion. Here we go. Is this a problem? I don't know if this is a problem or not. You guys will have to tell me. Loudoun County schools tried to conceal sexual assault against daughter in bathroom, father says. Well, that's interesting. Let's take a peek. Whatever could they mean? I think I got to shrink this a little bit. Here we go. Loudoun County schools try to conceal sexual assault against daughter in bathroom. Father says, father in viral video of school board arrest says his daughter was raped in a school bathroom. On June 22nd, Scott Smith was arrested at a Loudoun County, Virginia school board meeting. A meeting that was ultimately deemed an unlawful assembly after many attendees vocally opposed the policy on transgender students. No! What are you talking about? What people did not know is that weeks prior, on May 28th, Smith says a boy allegedly wearing a skirt entered a girl's bathroom at nearby Stonebridge High School, where he sexually assaulted Smith's 9th grade daughter. Juvenile records are sealed, but Smith's attorney, Elizabeth Lancaster, told the Daily Wire that a boy was charged with 2 counts of forcible sodomy, 1 count of anal sodomy, and 1 count of forcible fellatio, related to an incident that day at the school. Oh, weird. If someone would have sat and listened for 30 seconds to what Scott had to say, they would have been mortified and heartbroken, Scott's attorney, Elizabeth Lancaster, said. Get your kids out of public school. As a result of the viral video showing his arrest, Smith became the poster child for what the National School Boards Association has since suggested could be a form of domestic terrorism. A white, blue-collar male who showed up to harangue obscure public servants on his local school board. If someone would have sat and listened for 30 seconds to what Scott had to say, they would have been mortified and heartbroken. Would they? Would they? Would the school board have been mortified and heartbroken? I disagree. I don't believe that the school board would have given a shit at all. Can we continue reading? Nope. Let's see. Let me get the archive. Fucking Daily Wire. How dare they try to make money off of their reporting? Let's see. Oh no! Even the archive doesn't work. God damn it. Well, we've got most of the story. Minutes before Smith's arrest, the Loudoun County Public Schools superintendent lectured the public that concerns about the transgender policy were misplaced because the school system had no record of any assault occurring in any school bathroom. Then a woman wearing a rainbow heart shirt, a left-wing community activist, told Smith she did not believe his daughter, he says. His rage reached a boil and he had a heated exchange of words with the woman. Police officer, there to keep the peace in the meeting, pulled on his arm. Smith yanked it away. Before he knew it, Smith says he was hit in the face, handcuffed, and dragged across the floor with his pants pulled down. There you go. There you go. I don't know how to do whatever it is you're saying. You guys are telling me how to, like, solve this problem, but it doesn't make sense to me. Site settings. Disable JavaScript. Don't allow sites to use JavaScript. Let's try this one. That didn't change anything. I didn't do anything. It doesn't matter. This is enough of the story. Right? We get it. His daughter's raped. His daughter's raped anally and orally, allegedly, by a boy wearing a skirt who went into a girl's bathroom and just decided to commence the raping. No big deal. And then the Loudoun County School Board, which has been a hot button school board in general, just you know, they just don't do anything about it. They're like, no, that's never happened. I mean, there's literally charges. It says right here. A boy was charged with 2 counts of forcible sodomy, 1 count of anal, and 1 count of forcible fellatio related to an incident that day at the school. So there's literally charges, and Loudoun County just tells the parents, no, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening at all. Don't even worry about it. Bigot. If only someone could have seen this coming. If only someone could have said, you know, if you let people into maybe a bathroom. First of all, let me be very clear on my policy on high school bathrooms. Why are we still building high schools with public bathrooms and showers? Why are we doing that? Can anybody tell me why we're still building? Like, look, I graduated from high school in the year 2000. I didn't want to be in a locker room with a bunch of guys or a bunch of trannies. I didn't want to be in a locker room with anybody else. When I went into a bathroom, the last thing I wanted, the junior high I went to, many of the bathrooms in the junior high had walls that were about 3.5 feet tall with no doors on the shitter. So if you had to go in and take a dump for 10 minutes or whatever, like you ate the school lunch, so you've got to take a massive shit. You went in, there's no door. You're just sitting there with your stupid fucking face, like you're sitting down and your face is visible to everybody. Everybody knows you're in there. And they're just like, you know, so you avoid those bathrooms like the fucking plague. Of course you do. Because if you're gonna get your ass kicked in junior high or high school, it's gonna be while you're taking a shit. Like, why on... That's when you're vulnerable. You don't even have to get to the whole you're gonna get raped thing to get there, right? It's just nobody wants to be sitting there on a toilet where everybody can walk in and see you. Nobody wants that, except for some real fucking weirdos. Why are we still building these buildings with public restrooms, public locker rooms, public showers? The whole point of gendered showers was when we all pretended that there were no gays, right? So you had all the chicks in one shower, and Porky's, right, is the illustration that's every high school boy's dream, is that all the chicks are in one shower. So you have all the chicks in one shower because there's no one who's gonna louse over them. You have all the guys in the shower because there's no Catholic priests around. So it's okay. Except now that we know that the gays are everywhere. The gays are everywhere, apparently. So, like, if you have all of the chicks in one shower, there's one lesbian who's in heaven, and all of the other chicks are victimized by the lesbian flicking the old bean. Of course, now the bean might be like a 5-inch penis, right? Just hanging there. Who knows? We don't know anymore. But same thing in the guy's bathroom. Like the whole idea was that you're in there showering and no one's actually looking at your dick going, man, I want to grab that and love on it. Because that was not a thing. At least that's what they told everybody. That's what they told. You know the gym teacher does. Because the gym teachers, by and large, have to have the highest percentage of gayness of all teachers. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that you got elbow lady gym teachers and you got gay men gym teachers in the guys' locker rooms. I'm 100% convinced of it. So why do we still do this? But that being said, if only someone could have figured out that a rapist could go in. And no, it does not mean that every person who calls themselves trans is going to run in and rape everybody. That was never the problem. That's never been the issue with the transgender bathroom thing. Most trans people are not going to go into a bathroom and rape other people. That's not the concern. The concern is that someone can just lie and then go in and do the raping. That's always been the fucking concern, and no one can ask them a question about their entry into the bathroom because to ask the question is bigoted. That's the issue, is that someone will just say, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm a chick this week, and go in and just rape a chick. Like, that's the concern. And, of course, here it happened. Here it happened in Loudoun County, whatever the fuck that stupid... I don't know why people want me to pronounce that stupid, backwards piece of shit county correctly. It's one of the worst counties on the entire planet. And every time I mention it, people are like, oh, you pronounced it wrong. Well, who fucking cares? Who cares if you pronounce it wrong? It's a shit county. It's garbage. Everything about it is bad. Why would you want me to pronounce it correctly? What a garbage county that is. You pronounce our shithole correctly, you fucker. Okay, here we go. I have a completely different story. This is a deeper legal story. This is a deeper legal story. We are on Occasional Law Channel, and this one's weird. Gonna take a bit. Three police officers went to an elementary school in Tennessee and arrested 4 black girls. One girl fell to her knees, another threw up. Police handcuffed the youngest, an 8-year-old with pigtails. 8. Their supposed crime, watching some boys fight and not stopping them. So we need to. This feeds in to the last. This feeds into the last story a little bit. Juvenile justice. We have. Let me do it this way. We have transparent courts. We're supposed to have transparent courts. And people want to get rid of transparent courts because they're like, oh, well, if you get accused of a crime and you show up in the newspaper, then a bunch of dummies will think that you did it, which is true. We've conditioned our populace to go, well, if the cops accuse someone, then they must be guilty. We do it all the time because for some reason, especially on the right, we're like, cops are so good. They're always right, and prosecutors are never bad people. When it happens a lot, the cops are wrong, or the prosecutors are literally fucking terrible. They're terrible people making these decisions. But we have decided that when cops arrest people or whatever, and people get charged, that they're automatically guilty. And we justify this by so many of them pleading guilty, ignoring the reality that guilty pleas come whether people are guilty or not, in many cases, because it's just a system that is rigged to fuck you. Okay? So that being said, we say, well, we don't want people's accusations reported in the news because we don't want transparent courts, because then the accusations will damage them. That's us. That's us being stupid, trusting the authority, trusting the government, and saying the government is good, the government is just and right, therefore when they accuse people, they're automatically guilty. That's us being retarded, okay? But people say, so we need to protect children, which means we need juvenile shield laws. So if a child is accused of a crime, we want to go ahead and we don't want anyone to know, because that wouldn't be fair to the child. Except the reason that we have transparent courts, the reason that it's valuable to have transparent courts is because the community is supposed to be skeptical of the government. We're supposed to go, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Every time someone is arrested, we're supposed to go, what the fuck? I don't trust you. You have to prove to me beyond all reasonable doubt, that this person's guilty. That's what you have to do, because you're the government and you are shit. You are garbage. You do not have the right to do this to citizens unless you are 100% right. That's what we're supposed to do. That's our job. We don't do it anymore. We gave that up a long time ago. We're like, no, the government is good. So now we want to protect kids. We want to protect kids, but you're not protecting kids with this system. And I brought this up because I wanted to talk about it. The police wound up arresting 11 kids in total, using a charge called criminal responsibility. The arrest created outrage. State lawmakers called the case unconscionable, inexcusable, and insane. How did this happen? These arrests took place in Rutherford County, which had been illegally jailing kids for years, all under the watch of Judge Donna Scott Davenport. Donna Scott Davenport is the only elected juvenile court judge the county has ever had. She oversees the courts. She oversees a juvenile jail. She directed police on what she called our process for arresting children. In this deposition, a lawyer asked Davenport about taking the bar exam. It took her 9 years and 5 attempts to pass. 3 years after she got her law license, she was on the bench. Let's get this out here. Hold on. I'll start it over so we can hear it.
When did you first take the bar?
I waited till 87
7, I believe, a year after I graduated detective.
Okay. And then I guess didn't pass that.
No.
Were there any other attempts in between that first
Yes.
time? How many times did you put in the
I
bar?
passed on the 5th time.
When did
She passed the bar on the 5th try. This is a fucking judge. On her 5th try. 5 tries. 5. She runs the juvenile court system in this county. Davenport describes her work as a calling. I'm here on a mission. It's God's mission, she once told a newspaper. She says children must have consequences. She encourages parents to use drug testing kits on their kids. Don't buy them at the Dollar Tree, she says. The best ones are your reputable drugstores. Under Davenport, Rutherford County locked up a staggering 48% of children whose cases were referred to juvenile court. Statewide average was 5%. 5%. They locked up 48%, almost 10 times as many kids. This graphic shows detention rates for juvenile courts in Tennessee. Rutherford County's on the far right. Here's how they go. Blah, 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 blah. Bam! Lynn Duke, appointed by Davenport, is the county's head jailer. Tennessee narrowly limits when kids can be locked up, but Duke had her own way, the filter system. Her jail locked up any kid deemed to be a true threat. As for what's a true threat, her handbook didn't say. In a videotaped deposition, Duke was asked when the filter system applied. Depends on the situation, she said repeatedly. A lawyer asked Duke, is it your policy or not? No, yes, it's a policy to use it when necessary, Duke said. Look at this fucking ham beast. Look at this disgusting blob of a human. Look at these things.
Is it your policy or not?
No, yes, it's a policy to use it when necessary.
Do your employees follow this policy?
When necessary.
When is it necessary? When is it necessary, you fat, disgusting, fucking pig piece of garbage? When? Locking up kids. Do you know what it does to put a kid in juvie? Do you know what it does to a kid? That's it. They're done. They're done. You met juvie kids in high school, right? You met them. They're worthless. They're worthless to you. You could. They're not actually worthless, right? But they seem worthless. They're fucking garbage. They're the kids from the trailer park. They're not going to amount to anything. They're going to be drug dealers doing blowjobs for crack behind Walmart for the rest of their life. That's how you view them. You view them as less than human. Duke reports monthly to county commissioners, who liken the jail to a business and ask often about the numbers of beds filled. Just like a hotel, one commissioner says in this video, with breakfast provided, and it's not a Continental, says a second.
Just like a hotel. Somewhat.
With breakfast provided, and it's not a Continental, right?
Okay.
They're talking about locking up kids. Look, there are kids that need to be locked up, right? School shooter down in Texas, lock his ass up. Violent offenders, lock them up. I get it, right? Actually, not all violent kids need to be locked up. Some kids just need to slug it out and it's over. But there are kids who are violent, who are dealing drugs, who need to get locked up. Most kids don't. Most kids don't. A bunch of elementary school kids who didn't stop a fight between boys. What the fuck are they supposed to do? Police officer who investigated this fight was Crystal Templeton. Are you noticing a fucking trend? Are you noticing a trend? Crystal Lynn, Donna. We noticing a trend here? She wanted to charge every kid who watched. She believed charging them was helping them. By the time of this investigation, Templeton had been disciplined at least 37 times. 37 disciplines. Her personnel file shows. To arrive at a charge, Templeton met with 2 judicial commissioners. In Rutherford County, these commissioners wield great legal power. They can issue warrants, set bail, and conduct probable cause hearings, all without needing a law degree. One commissioner, who used to work in a post office, came up with the charge of criminal responsibility for conduct of another. The problem? There's no such charge. These kids are charged with a crime that doesn't exist. Of course it doesn't exist. We don't have a law that imposes an obligation on you to act on behalf of someone else. You're not responsible for the conduct of another. Ever. Ever, ever. You can't be. You have to. Criminal liability requires you to engage and assist and further bad conduct, not passively ignore bad conduct. Brian Dewig says, if a cop can't be held responsible to enforce the laws, how can children? Exactly. Exactly. Of the 11 kids arrested in this case, 4 wound up being jailed under the filter system. The filter system was illegal, yet it was written into the jail's standard operating procedures for 9 years. Tennessee Department of Children's Services licenses juvenile jails and inspected Rutherford County Jail every year. Not once did it flag the filter system. There was very little graffiti, an inspector wrote one year. Neat and clean, she wrote in 3 other years. Look, I'm not one to notice trends. Like I am not out here like bashing women on a daily basis or anything like that. But I mean, is it a fucking coincidence that we've got going on here? It's kids. This is the problem, right? It's kids. It's kids, so women should be in charge. That's how this goes. That's the thought process that leads this. Well, that's how schools work, right? Well, it's teaching. Women should be in charge. Oh, it's nursing. Women should be in. It's neonatal nursing. Women should be in charge of that. Oh, it's a pediatric ward of a hospital. You got to put women in there. They're better with kids. Get the fucking women out. Put them with the kids. Kids going to jail. Women are going to be better at that. Judge Davenport declined to talk to us for this story. So did Duke and Templeton. So did the Department of Children's Services. In court records, Rutherford County has denied any wrongdoing. The county's illegal jailing of kids came to a stop only when a federal judge ordered an end to the filter system, but the county is still jailing lots of kids. When forced to stop jailing so many of its own children, Rutherford County ramped up its pitch to detain kids from other places. The county charges $175 a day for each kid they jail. Check out this promo video narrated by Judge Davenport over saxophone music and B-roll of children in black and white striped uniforms. It's titled, What Can Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center Do For You? They have an ad?
Built in 2008, the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center
They have a fucking ad?
is a 43,094 square foot facility that is located in the heart of Tennessee. Just minutes from Interstate 24 in Murfreesboro, the center is easily accessible with plenty of lodging and restaurants.
Lodging and restaurants? You're not staying at the Embassy Suites, you're staying at the fucking jail.
Choices to choose from. There are also several major hospitals within a short driving distance as well.
You notice how they don't get a smooth pan out, right? It looks like me operating the fucking camera. Because they've got some GovCuck employee trying to do a slow pan. They can't do it. I'm David Slow Pan.
With its close proximity to I-24, you can also connect with Interstate 65 and Interstate 40 in less than 30 minutes via State Route 840 that passes through Rutherford County. With easy access to 3 of the state's major interstates, counties located in Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia are within a 2 or 3 hour driving range of the center. Okay, location is definitely a plus, but what about the center? What makes the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center one of the best in the country?
Fuck me!
Well, for starters, we are one of the top 6 juvenile detention centers in the country, according to Jail Exchange, and also one of the newest and most technologically advanced juvenile detention centers in the state of Tennessee. All of our
How many of those cameras are on the showers? Is anybody else? Anybody else wondering how many of those fucking cameras are on the showers in the juvenile detention center?
employees are certified in first aid and CPR, and we also have certified instructors in the areas of first aid, CPR, suicide prevention, nonviolent crisis intervention, and applied physical training. Okay, let's talk about some of the technology that we incorporate into our center.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
First of all, we have a secure command center that controls access to the majority of the building through the use of video, intercom, and electronically controlled locks into and out of the secured areas. That includes detainee drop-off, hallways, detainee housing areas, and detention rooms. There is also video visitation equipment between the lobby and detainee.
Oh, that was so nice. Did you see that? Did you see that? Some nice dad getting to have a chat with fucking Junior by this nice 480p black and white screen. So lovely. This is how we do it. Mandy Carvicia says, "Looks like you're feeling better, Nick." I'm not great. By the way, the Critical Drinker is the only YouTuber who says my last name correctly. Leave it to a drunken Scot to say Karavikis. Karavikis. Oh, that's how I say it. Happy Columbus Day. Yes, Columbus Day is the best.
Equipment between the lobby and detainee housing to minimize any security risk between visitors and detainees.
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen, right? The juvenile children are going to rise up, and if they see their parents in person, they're going to rise up and overthrow the fucking jail.
There are 64 clean and secure detention beds, with 48 of those being in a single occupancy rooms that have a toilet, sink, water fountain, private shower, desk, and intercom system to connect with the command center at all times.
Oh, that's good.
Facility? Check.
I would be on that fucking intercom constantly. Like, you're gay. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. I hope you die. Have you tried eating glass? You fucking garbage human. I would never stop pressing the intercom button. I would fart into that fucking thing harder than Ethan Ralph. I would be the worst. You could never put me in a fucking juvenile detention facility with constant access to an intercom. I would be fucking... God, I'd be beaten constantly. I'd just be dead. I mean, they just bury me in the fucking ground.
Great employees? Check. Programs?
Oh.
Yes, this is another area that...
Wait, programs? What were they?
Program.
Let's see, we've got Getting Along at Home, about preventing teenage alcohol use, teens and smoking, talking to adolescents about sex, something about drugs, about preventing youth violence in your community, teen behavior, and stay involved in your teen's education. Oh, good. Yes, these pamphlets will help. Your teen needs you. Build the bond of the family.
Programs. Yes, this is another area that the Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center excels. We offer many programs to detainees at no charge to them. These programs are in place.
charge. Oh, that was nice of you. You put them in fucking jail. They're in jail. Well, we offered it no charge. No charge. Well, it's a retreat then.
To help educate and to overall make detainees a better person from the time they come in here to the time they leave. Some of the programs include pet therapy, education credit recovery, parenting classes, religious services, job readiness, nutrition, and online computer classes, just to name a few. Location check. Facility check. Employees check.
Check.
Programs check. With all this going for us, there's no question why we have contracts for the detention of juvenile detainees. The reason? Cost and convenience. We can save money for counties who might not have the funds to invest in a facility or do not have access to such a facility within their county.
These are the worst people on earth. I don't
Without
care.
the need of a facility, staff, food, insurance, and facility maintenance, the cost savings could be even more than you might realize. Plus, with the exceptional facility, staff, training, and programs found here at the Rutherford
All of these people deserve a guillotine.
County Detention Center, it makes the decision easy to make. To find out more about the Rutherford County Detention Center, please visit our website at www.rutherfordcountytn.gov/JDC. And if you would like to discuss the opportunity to contract out with us, please contact us at area code 615-898-7954 and let us be your partner for the safe custody and well-being of the detained youth of your community.
This has been a production of Rutherford County Government. Look at how I look. This freeze frame is very uncharitable to me. I look like I've had 48 liquors. Jesus Christ. To report this story, we filed 56 public record requests, got 38 hours of audio taped interviews from an internal police investigation, watched over 100 public meetings spanning 12 years. For more on our reporting process, check out the methodology section at the story's end. Maribel and I want to thank the children and parents who shared their stories with us. You read the full investigation published by ProPublica and WPLN here. To get more ProPublica stories, no. Fuck off. I mean, this is mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that this is going on. And how would you ever know? How would you ever know this is going on other than these people taking up the case for 4 delinquent youths, right? 4 delinquent youths in the middle of Tennessee. No one cares. No one cares about 4 black girls in elementary school. Generally speaking. Why would you? Right? Why would you care about some random kid in Tennessee? Unless you're in Tennessee. This is atrocious. It's atrocious. Let's see. So this happened, by the way, in 2016. Way back in 2016. 3 police officers were crowded into the assistant principal's office at Hobgood Elementary School. Tammy Garrett, the school's principal, had no idea what to do. One officer wearing a tactical vest was telling her, go get the kids. The second officer was telling her, don't go get the kids. The third officer wasn't saying anything. Garrett knew the police had been sent to arrest some children, although exactly which children it would turn out was unclear to everyone, even to these officers. Names police had given the principal included 4 girls now sitting in classrooms throughout the school. All 4 girls were black. There was a 6th grader, 2 4th graders, and a 3rd grader. The youngest was 8. On this sunny Friday afternoon in spring, she wore her hair in pigtails. A few weeks before, a video had appeared on YouTube. It showed two small boys, 5 and 6 years old, throwing feeble punches at a larger boy as he walked away, while other kids tagged along, some yelling. The scuffle took place off school grounds after a game of pickup basketball. Off school grounds. One kid insulted another kid's mother is what started it all. The police were at Hobgood because of that video, but they hadn't come for the boys who threw the punches. They were there for the children who looked on. Off school grounds. They were here for the children who looked on. The police in Murfreesboro, a fast-growing city about 30 miles southeast of Nashville, had secured juvenile petitions for 10 children in all who were accused of failing to stop the fight. Officers are now rounding up kids, even though the department couldn't identify a single one in the video, which was posted with a filter that made faces fuzzy. What was clear were the voices, including that of one girl trying to break up the fight, saying, "Stop, Tay-Tay, stop, Tay-Tay, stop, Tay-Tay." She was a 4th grader at Hobgood. Her initials were EJ. Here's Tammy Garrett. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Here we go. This is the principal, Tammy Garrett. The officer telling Garrett not to get the kids was Chris Williams. Williams, who is black, had been a Murfreesboro cop for 5 years. What in the world he thought when he learned what these arrests were about. Hobgood, 2/3 of the students were black or Latino. Williams wondered if such arrests would be made at a school that was mostly white. Buddy, you've got the wrong fucking problem. You've got the wrong problem. He had a daughter who was 9. He pictured her be arrested. This is going to blow up, he thought. Going to end up in federal court over this. Considered quitting, but instead tried to get someone to intervene. Tucked in an office corner, he called a sergeant, a lieutenant major, but couldn't find anyone to call it off. The officer not saying anything was Albert Miles III. Growing up, Miles, who was black, had friends who hated the police. Miles' dad was a cop, wanted to prove that police could be trusted. That afternoon, Miles had been pulled out of roll call along with another officer. Sergeant told the two to go arrest some kids at Hobgood. The sergeant didn't say why, but at Hobgood, Miles started picking up details. He, too, wondered if the arrest would happen at a school full of white students. Again, you've got the wrong fucking problem. Third officer was Jeff Carroll. He'd been pulled out of roll call with Miles. Carroll, who is white, was a patrol officer and SWAT team member. An evaluation supervisor praised him as a leader, cool under pressure. He also had no idea what these arrests were about, but his sergeant had ordered them, and he followed orders. Carroll was the officer telling the principal, go get the kids. Anyway. Fucking garbage people. Ugh. Ugh. God, this is an infuriating story for me. Anyway, I'm not going to read through all this because it'll take for fucking ever. It's a long story of real journalism, and I don't do journalism that's over 30 seconds long. Wow. Awful. Awful. Just fucking terrible people. Anyway, I saw that story. I thought you guys might be interested to know about it. It's, like I said, it's one of the legal stories that's out there. I guess we've got another one here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here we go. Good. Do it. Seattle could fire 40% of police force over COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Do it. Do it. Fire them all. Fire all of them. Defund the police. Let's do it. Let's do it. Seattle's already depleted police department is bracing for another setback. The city is poised to fire as many as 403 officers, about 40% of the 1,000-person force, for failing to take the jab by an October 18th deadline. The environment has been pretty toxic and negative, an unnamed officer told Fox 13 News. Not just from this whole mandate, but prior to that as well. I'm not sure this would be a good place for me to work long term for my mental health. It has been very stressful. Get out. Get out, cops. Leave. Total of 292 officers had yet to provide proof of COVID vaccination as of October 6th, the station reports. In addition, 111 police officers are awaiting the results of exemption requests. Seattle PD has already lost more than 300 officers since Black Lives Matter riots and the defund the police movement roiled into the city in 2020, putting officers in the crosshairs of political and public ire. Go work at Walmart or whatever. Go work anywhere else. In response to the pending manpower crisis, interim police chief Adrian Diaz advised his department to transition into phase 3 mobilization. By the way, if you're in Seattle, watch out. Watch out. Your ass is just going to get shot. They're just going to shoot you. Effective October 13th, which among other contingency requires all sworn personnel to be on standby duty to respond to 911 calls. You're just going to get shot. You're going to fucking die. Get out of Seattle. Like, either the person mugging you will kill you or the cop responding will just shoot you. Get out. We value each of you and do not want to lose you as employers, Mayor Jenny Durkin said in an email defending the vaccine mandate sent to city employees this week. But the people that count on you the most are the ones that need you to get vaccinated. Nope. Peace. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm done. I'm out. Can you believe it? Can you imagine that condescending fucking email? Sorry, the people who depend on you need you to get vaccinated. Do they? How many of you? You're being robbed. You're being robbed. You call 911. The cop shows up and you're like, whoa. Excuse me, officer. Are you vaccinated? Officer? I'm sorry, I don't want your help. Please don't stop the criminal unless you're vaccinated. Oh my God. Again, this is insanity. Absolute fucking crazy town. And then there's one man. One man standing up for everybody else, metaphorically speaking. One fucking cripple to rule them all. Texas Governor Greg Abbott orders a ban on all COVID-19 vaccine mandates in the state. Texas governor, they should just make it so that if you're committing a crime while you're unvaccinated, then you're more guilty. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order Monday to prohibit any entity, including private business, from enforcing a COVID-19 vaccine mandate on workers, called on state lawmakers to pass a similar ban into law. The move comes as the Biden administration is set to issue rules requiring employers with more than 100 workers to be vaccinated or test weekly for the coronavirus. Several major companies, including Texas-based American Airlines and Southwest Airlines, have said they would abide by the federal mandate. So there you go. These are your people. Quote, no entity in Texas can compel receipt of a COVID-19 vaccine by any individual, including an employee or a consumer, who objects to such vaccination for any reason of personal conscience based on a religious belief or for medical reasons, including prior recovery from COVID-19, Abbott wrote in his order. So he says, if you have any objection to this, or if you already had LeCouf, they can't do shit to you. That's what his order says. He has just become public enemy number one. He is public enemy number one. Abbott, who was previously vaccinated. See what they do here? See how they do this? By the way, Tim Pool is the same level of Puritan. You can't be opposed to vaccine mandates and have the vaccine. Well, Abbott was previously vaccinated, so how could he be opposed to the mandate? Right? It's the same level of Puritan going on with fucking journalists that's going on with Tim Pool. And also later tested positive for COVID-19. How'd he do that if he was vaccinated? Noted in his order that vaccines are strongly encouraged for those eligible to receive one, but must always be voluntary for Texas. Texas has seen a recent decrease in newly reported COVID cases and vaccines, or in hospitalizations, but a rising death toll from the recent surge caused by the Delta variant has the state rapidly approaching 67,000 total fatalities since the pandemic began. Decrease in new cases and hospitalizations, but the death toll is rising. The governor added the issue to the agenda for lawmakers to address during ongoing special session. Abbott called for redrawing voting maps and new restrictions on transgender student athletes. Montana has passed a law preventing employers from mandating workers to get vaccines, and a number of states have explicitly said schools cannot require vaccinations. Abbott previously barred vaccine mandates by state and local government agencies, but until now had let private companies make their own rules for their workers. It was not immediately clear if Abbott's latest executive order would face a quick court challenge. Of course it will. The amount of money with for the legal infrastructure here is off the charts. It's off the charts. The amount of money for this. Every single piece of COVID freedom that comes out of a governor or legislature is immediately challenged. Imagine your goal in life is to sue the government into forcing other people to get a vaccine. That's what's going on right now. There's a huge amount of money with the sole purpose of suing the government into forcing vaccines on people. That level of cuckoldry is beyond anything I would have ever thought in my life would show up. Like, I can't even imagine you're going to pay money to sue the government to force you to get a vaccine. Abbott's new order also carries political implications. Two-term Republican is facing pressure from two candidates in next year's GOP primary. Former State Senator Don Huffines and former Florida Congressman and Texas State Party Chairman Alan West have attacked Abbott's COVID-19 policies and have strongly opposed vaccine mandates. He knows which the way the wind is blowing. He knows conservative Republican voters are tired of the vaccine mandates and tired of him being a failed leader, Huffines tweeted. West recently tested positive for COVID-19. He was briefly hospitalized, but also tweeted he remains opposed to vaccine mandates. West announced Monday on his social media accounts that he had returned home. So this has been going on with Greg Abbott down in Texas. It's amazing. I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. I haven't even looked. I have no idea if we have a mandate because I'm here, right? I'm an independent business person. I don't have to go do anything. I don't have any requirements yet. I guess in theory, the court system might require us to get the Pope to appear in court in person. I have an appearance later this month. So I guess it's possible that they would do something like that. But they notice they're not doing that to lawyers, really. Not really doing that to lawyers. Because that'd be weird, right? Like, my lawyer can't show up because you have a rule against him showing up. How do I get my right to an attorney? Well, too fucking bad. We'll see how that goes. I'll raise you my fucking long coof. Let's see. Where's I was gonna check one more thing. What was I gonna check? Gotta be careful with some of these topics on YouTube. Like this one. Let's see. Let's check this out real quick. I haven't watched the clip yet. But Joe, good logic, says Gloria Allred proves my point. Women cannot debate. Uh-oh. That's a little bit red-pilled. The purpose of debating is to prove your point is correct. Falking back to a cry of sexism isn't debating to prove she is correct. It's dancing to avoid all evidence that she's wrong. Okay, it looks like Dave Rubin, who is unimpressed, is talking with Gloria Allred. Let's see what this says. I haven't listened.
Even for your own choice, if you exercise your choice not to get a vaccine, you get to do that. But you also have to pay the consequences of that. And the consequences.
I love it. Straight out the gate, it's fucking infuriating. Well, look, you have a choice not to pay your taxes. You have a choice not to pay your taxes, but if you don't pay them, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. Look, it's a free choice, bro. Do you remember what fucking dummy? Was it Obama who said that? We have a voluntary tax system, or was it Harry? I think it was Harry Reid. He's like, oh, we have a voluntary tax system. It's like, oh, you mean the one where you go to jail for not voluntarily paying?
May be that you're not going to be able to have a job anymore. The consequences may be that you're going to end up in the hospital with serious COVID and you may die. And because you're overloading the ICUs in the hospital, people who need care for cancer.
No, fuck you. No, fuck you, you dumb bitch. They tried to get me to go to the ER. I tried to go to my regular clinic like a normal human with a normal, mild sickness because I was not dying and they tried to get me to go to the ER. Fuck you. Oh, scumbag. Piece of garbage.
Or heart disease or other illnesses may not be able to get a bed because you were irresponsible in not getting the vaccine.
Gloria, frankly, it's very obvious to me that you're a progressive because what lies under every progressive is a really sort of hysterical authoritarian.
Well,
everyone is
that's a
allowed to make a
sexist
decision.
statement.
It's not sexist if you're wrong, you dumb bitch. Like, I can call you a dumb bitch. It has nothing to do with you being a woman. It's you being a dumb bitch.
A decision for themselves. Here, we're in Los Angeles right now. I was just over at the studio that I couldn't get into over there. Which hospitals in Los Angeles are overrun right now?
Yeah. Look, let me just tell you something. First of all, you made a sexist remark. Calling a woman hysterical is very, very sexist. So I think you should stay on the issues instead of engaging in name calling. Look.
Classic mistake by Rubin, though. You can't do that. You can't do that with a fucking harpy like Gloria Allred. Because now the conversation is no longer about how stupid her point was. The conversation is about how Dave Rubin is a sexist who calls a woman hysterical. Like, he should have said, yeah, your fucking axe wound bleeds every month and you become retarded every single month. That's what happens. You stupid inferior gender. He should have said that. Might as well. It would have had the same effect as saying hysterical, which Dave Rubin, of course, is not talking about her being a woman when he's calling her hysterical. He's just calling her hysterical because she's acting hysterically. But he might as well have said, I'm sorry, the devil's gateway between your fucking maggot-infested crotch has polluted your brain and made you unable to think, and if you were a man, you'd be smarter. He may as well have said that. If he would have said that, it would have had the exact same effect. Rookie mistake, Dave.
Look, we've had surges, we've had ups,
Well, in
we've
essence,
had
you were
downs.
telling me I was
in
gonna kill people,
California,
but all right.
we don't need to wait for the point at which there is a crisis, as is going on in many, many states where there are no ICU beds available and people have to drive.
Name one. What state doesn't have ICU beds? Let's see. I'll type into Google News. ICU beds. ICU beds at 92% capacity in Colorado. That means there are beds. Oh, 7 days ago, they said 68 Texas hospitals out of ICU beds. 4 days ago, Utah says ICU beds over capacity, forcing hospitals to make adjustments. Okay. All right. 5% of Wisconsin's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 is partly to blame. You know what else is to blame? All the medical staff who aren't vaccinated and don't want to be.
Drive miles and miles to another state to even get an ICU bed. Some people have died before they got there.
Name one. Name one person who died on the way to a different hospital's ICU bed from COVID. Name someone who died on the way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the researchers for this show can show me the videos of all the overrun hospitals that nobody has seen. There's been no pictures of them and no videos of them. But again, I'm not for people getting sick. I'm for choice. I believe people can make the right medical choices for themselves. I mean, really, if we go down this route, where you have to do things for your health and to make sure that hospitals don't get overrun, there's going to be an awful lot of bad things we're going to have to do to overweight people, because as you know, being overweight and being diabetic is one of the biggest factors in COVID morbidity.
99% of the people.
Are we suddenly going to say that overweight people should be what? Are we going to force them to diet? Are we going to not give them health insurance?
Dave, Dave brought up fatsos. You can't do that. Look at her face. She's not impressed. Because most of the women she represents are overweight and diabetic fatsos. They just are. Can't do it. Can't bring that up with Gloria fucking Allred. But notice she didn't make any actual points. She didn't make any points about about any of this stuff. It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Let's see. Was there anything else? I don't know. I probably should save some fucking topics. Oh, Superman's gay. There you go. Superman's fucking gay. It's been confirmed. It was, people knew it was coming. It's been confirmed, though. Now Superman is fully gay. So there you go. It's the new Superman, not Clark Kent, John Kent, or whatever. The new Superman. Where do we have it? Fuck is this? Hold on. Seeing what this is. Oh, hey. Here we go. Another. This is just how California works these days.
Shit, he's just stealing medication.
Can I get a pharmacy, please? Can I get a pharmacy?
Oh my
Don't
God,
worry about this, guys.
Shit.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not doing it, bro. Dial 911, please.
Just Just goes behind the counter at the pharmacy. Just steals everything. No big deal. Right? California. Dial 911, please. Like they're going to show up? Here we go. I got a video from my man Az. Someone said. Az, what's that horrible fucking ringing? Okay. That's it. That's all. That's his whole fucking video. Well played. Well played, good sir. Yeah. That's that. I guess I should cover the yeah, he has dialogue, and his next video is 13 minutes long. Yeah, I get it. But that's what's going on in the world. That's that's Superman. I don't know what else there is to fucking say about it. It's every single old property. It's coming for all of them. It has to. They don't have anything else to talk about or to do. Every single property is going to come across this issue. Because when you're borrowing property from 70 years ago, you have to keep it fresh. You have to do something new. It's just how it goes. Lil Meme says, as someone with multi-organ failure, I spent a lot of time in hospitals. Heart wards and cancer wards get their own rooms outside of the ICU wing. I spent a lot of time in cancer ward getting iron IV or renal disease due. It's not busy. Yeah. Well, it's almost like hospitals after a year and a half of this actually have, their contingency in place. And the reason that they're hovering near in the 90 to 95% capacity range is because that's how you efficiently run a hospital, is to be near your capacity. Because if the hospital was sitting there with 75% of beds open, the hospital has too many beds, and they can't actually afford to staff that because there's no insurance paying for those open beds. This is silly. If you had, that's like saying, oh man, Walmart's only able to keep 10% of its maximum capacity supplies on the shelf. Well, okay, yeah. Yeah, if they were running at having 90% of the shelf full all the time, that would mean they weren't selling anything and they'd be going out of business. It's just dumb. This whole thing is dumb. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know what else to do. It's It's just fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid. All right. I think we're about done. I'm gonna read the super chats and the justice chats, and then that's gonna be that. And we're gonna go watch Ong Bak. I'm gonna eat a big bowl of chili because chili's delicious, and I made it yesterday. And chili's always good the next day. And that'll be nice. That'll be nice. Okay, Anthony James says, I have it on very good authority that Eris drinks his own semen. That's pretty gross. Silky Johnson says, Nick, I know you don't like Streamlabs, but YouTube is asshole, and I don't want to give Mommy Susan money for her horse face and penis softening cream. Her horse feed and penis softening cream. I'm sure the guidelines team is totally unbiased and not blue-haired, gross, fat hog screeching trannies. You know, I sent an email to my partner manager today, and again, I'm talking to her tomorrow, allegedly, and I said, you realize that that you're causing me not only like short-term financial harm by banning me from streaming, and that will have a direct impact, but you've also impacted the willingness of people to donate to me because they know that your fucking platform takes a cut. So stupid. Unanswered question says, Nick, there's a woman in Colorado that's in stage 4 renal failure and has a kidney, but they refuse because they are pure-blooded. How is it legal or moral for a hospital to refuse to give a person a transplant because they didn't get a specific jab? It's insane. It is insane. It is not moral, but I guess it's legal because they're the ones who do the transplant, and they get to set up their own ways to do it. So there you go. Shish Kebabber says use Streamlabs. They only take about 4%, not 40% like YouTube. Streamlabs has banned me. So they can also eat a fucking bullet. They banned me. I need to get Stream Elements set up, I guess. All right. Jordan Jones says, careful, dude. The commies will ban this channel too. Well, good thing I have a third one. ISJ322 says, I literally called and told you this was going on. You called and told me well over a week after the stream in question had already occurred. I appreciated the call that you sent me, but the call that you sent me, all that was organized after the the shit had actually occurred. So I don't know how else to say it. Like I said, I do appreciate it, but this wasn't that. Facu Niga says, the fiery place hell is a banned word. Malik Fox, it says, distinctly remember the entire chat arguing with you about that over several streams, but screw me, right? Screw you, Malik. Europa Chronicles says, for the rant. Red Guy says, this seems like some bad faith removal not protected by 230. Everything's protected by 230. Removals, non-removals, all of it's protected by 230. All of it. Not applicable says, sue them, punish these a-holes. Joshua Sanabria says, for so long, the coof has held your throat in iron scratchy bands. Rant to us, Law Daddy. Rant to us now. It's now the fucking, my lung and the fatigue. Winston says, if you think YouTube is dumb, just remember that Australians collect Thomas the Tank Engine toys. Apex Audis says, I need a cigarette after that one. See No Evil says, bump for Hellfire and Brimstone. Not applicable says, you should believe it. Marxists are stupid. A crafty Huragok says, they turn the frogs gay. Call Me John says, Nick, how much do I have to send for you to make retarded Among Us videos? I don't. I can't do it. My kids watch like the Minecraft and Among Us videos where they're like, yo, I was turned around backwards and he killed me. Yo, I walked in, I got my scan and then he killed me. Yo. God, millions of views for that shit. Millions of views for people saying, watching fucking Among Us and Minecraft videos. Just doing that same shit. Yo, I got trees growing in my house. Yo! I wish you would get a rope and hang yourself from the tree. Fuck. I'm not supposed to. That was a joke. I don't actually wish that. I fucking hate it. It's the most vapid and horrible content and millions and millions of views. Just millions of it. Those people make like $200,000 a month. Just millions of fucking views. Bacon's here says, me, I haven't seen a Nick vid recommended on my homepage for a while. I wonder what he's up to. Oh, he got banned. Physicality Channel says Nick's a good boy, didn't do nothing. Ray Corin says you should be on Timcast IRL. What is your legal niche? For some reason, I don't think I'll ever be on Timcast IRL. I don't think so. Tim's been on this channel, but I don't think I'll ever end up on his. Not sure why. Joe Sullivan says, why does the AB5 rule in California apply to content creators? Aren't creators just employees according to California law? No. They'll never go against social media. Nope. Adolf E. Newman says, my mom just came back from Tanzania. Says natives there drink a mixed juice of carrots, or of citrus, pineapple, and zingiber every morning. High in vitamin C, D, and magnesium. No coof to be found there. They also take a certain regiment of anti-parasitic drugs that we cannot talk about in the United States. A strong regiment, very common, of an anti-parasitic drug as a preventative measure all over Africa. And it's weird. It's weird. There's been like some correlative surveys done on the parasitic or anti-parasitic drugs. But we're not allowed to study it in the U.S. or talk about it. Ray Corin says, you had me at does they identify as black? Sums up the last 2 years of our head dive into clown world. Oh, yeah. Not applicable says, I wonder if he thinks they're as dark as Michelin's. Serial Fox City says, just thought I'd point out that you could slash Michelin tires with your nose. Damn. Not applicable says, he's literally the Iceman now. She's in the fridge. Mexican Flash says, look, Nikki, no Hispanic has ever sexualized a woman before. That song my coworker made about a female supervisor's ass never happened. Not applicable says, what's 4'9" and shits in his pants? A squealer. Spencer Mosher says, same thing happened to me on my news channel when I covered the Trump rally. You have to depose them to get that info. Got censored for wrongthink. Yeah, that's the thing. There is no talking to the community guidelines people, typically speaking. There's no talking to them. So they never have to answer. They just send some poor bastard. Has to say, I'm really sorry that you feel this way. But they reviewed it and they determined that you were wrong. Eldon Bainling says, beige wall, beige shirt, and beige face. Come on, man. No, I don't come on, men. That's your job. Spencer Mosher says, there needs to be legislation to treat these social media giants as utilities. Antitrust laws need to be enforced against these companies. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen because the politicians want to use them. Real Spider Phantom, thanks for the donation. Eldon Bainling says, NFTs, let me help you. Right-click, save as. Malik Foxon says, believe all women unless they're accusing a trans. It also says, any guy that went to public school and had to use a bathroom knows the other kids will come in and fuck with you if they know you're doing number 2. Yep. It's the worst thing. It's the worst thing. Wrestler Town says, my dad fixed my elementary school stall door issue by going to the principal's office and saying he will not leave until the principal takes a dump in front of him. Doors installed the next week. He had to stay there for a week? Cal Clay says, Nick, did you hear about Chicago? Gang violence is okay because both gangs enabled PvP. No charges for a shootout with one dead because they all opted into it. Yeah, mutual comment. The only correct thing Lori Lightfoot has ever said was that this was definitely not mutual combat. Cal Clay says, you're not willing to fight for freedom. You don't deserve it. He also says, where Judy Joe Brown, can we cook her for her sins? Yes. Not applicable says, lock these people up for trying to ruin these kids. Siumara says, why are women on average so involved with destroying so many kids' lives? From this to destroying education to pushing trans, other areas like why? It's partly men. It's partly men. Men forfeited the interaction with children in the public sphere. They forfeited it to women. That's part of it. Cal Clay says, Nick, I'm going to give you a heads up. Since White House is empty, Canada is going to repeat the past. We burnt down your pink house. White House going to burn for freedom. It's not, though. It's not going to happen. Deathwish says, here's your 50 cents rackets. Thank you. Cyril Fox, he says, reminds me of the YouTube video, The Cult in a Boarding School, about the Elan School. Okay. Not applicable says, they put these kids in bar jumpsuits. This is sick. Yeah. Yep. 200 Watt Studio says, Nick, Slow Pan is the owner of the Chinese restaurant next to the Juvie Center. Rise up and take over the universe from beyond the grave. Indeed. Malik Foxon says, I was born in Tennessee. Couldn't be more ashamed. Just glad Anderson County didn't even make that list, although it might be worse than Rutherford. Bryce Johnson says, YouTube unsub me from Mercado Media right after the ban. Mr. Bentham says, I hate the way this lady pronounces words. Me too. Ron Crossman says, can the parents file 1983 claims for the fake crimes? Yeah, but they've probably got qualified immunity. So, probably got qualified immunity for it. Mandy Karavikis says, as a Texan, I just yeed and shot my Colt at the sky. Malik Foxon says, I mean, Abbott also said yes to lockdowns. Not convinced that he won't later buckle, but I appreciate him doing something right. Yeah, he's trying to recover from that. He's been trying to recover from that the whole time. Him and DeSantis both buckled at the same time. Thermasius 1980 says, Huffiness is also running on abolishing property taxes, which sounds good in theory until you ask what will replace property taxes, and that question has many turning away from him. Thomas Finton says, ever notice the modern day authoritarian / fascist nowadays acts and sounds like a guilt-tripping mother, wife, woman that attempts to shame you? Yes. Ben Frail says, did you see Good Logic wedding podcast with Pillar Disaster? No. I don't know what is that? What happened? Trump Willis is my name, says, Recato Law, you have to remember ICU wards do not have 2 to 6 beds at a time. They're very small area in the hospital. Yeah, and you can't run them. You have to run them at close to max capacity or else you're wasting resources. Duck Fart says, how do you check up on Ryan? Gary can't raise him without you. Eldon Bainling says, yo, what the fuck? I just showed up here and there's beige everywhere, bro. Yo, I can't believe it, bro. Yo. P.S. How you doing, Nick? Tired. Cal Clay says, Nick, you just solved it. Demo Crips are parasites. That's why they are ungodly defensive about coof topics. They're defending their kin. Profit, Nick. Marty Lund says ICU is always at 85 to 95% capacity because they are using a nursing pool to minimize employees. They use contractors to change capacity on a daily basis. Cal Clay says, sure it will. Biden fell asleep with a cigar in hand to burn down the White House. There you go. Marty Lund says, talk to Viva and Barnes about Skinner decision. Pressure plus immunities for private companies equals state actors. Constitutional obligations. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's that. There we go. There we go. That is the end of the show. Thank you all for hanging out. We'll see you over on Twitch for some good old-fashioned Ong Bak. Someone in the chat said Drexel is racist. There you go. How dare he be racist? Drexel. Very, very disappointed in you. Malik Foxon says, peace, peace. That's my line. I'll see you guys over on Twitch. Have a good night, guys. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lafroig. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Doug T to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now.